Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I cannot believe it's been over a decade since I got into this industry, the health, wellness, and nutrition coaching world. And I realized at that point, after my healing journey, my health crisis, that this is my calling for a career. And I certainly hadn't healed all of my health issues at that point. And it actually didn't matter either because I could still help people. I had enough knowledge to at least be one step ahead of someone else. So I don't think it's necessary that you're completely healed before going ahead. But I also do think it's important to work on yourself and make sure that you're continuing to invest time, effort, money into your personal development. Because let me tell you, being a business owner is one of the greatest personal development journeys you will ever go on, and you will learn about boundaries and your fears come to the surface, your fear of being judged and seen. It all happens, so bear that in mind. But in today's episode, I want to share with you some of the biggest mistakes that I made when I started my health coaching business. This might apply to a few different industries, but obviously, me being a nutritional therapist, this is what I have learned. So I'm excited to share with you today. But as I said, you don't have to be perfect. That could be a misconception, and people delay thinking, I need to heal myself more, I need to do another course, I need to be knowledgeable about every single thing before I can help others, and it's just not the case. But you also want to be authentic. You don't need to share all of your deepest, darkest struggles online, because you do want to show up as an authority figure. But let's say you are a nutritionist and you're still secretly binge eating takeaways on the weekend. Not really in alignment. Or you're a self-love or confidence coach, and behind the scenes you are really struggling and beating yourself up every day. That is out of integrity, that is inauthentic, and people can sniff that out a mile away. So that's what you want to avoid doing. So even when I started off in my practice, I still had some breakouts on my face, and not that anyone would ever say anything, but I would just say, I'm working on this and I can still help you with your bloating or your energy. And eventually I healed, and those people, some of them still work with me now, years on, because they just love the process and love having someone to guide them along. So yeah, being embodied in your message is really key. And of course, there's going to be moments where if you are a confidence coach, you doubt yourself, and you don't have to eat perfectly all the time if you're a nutritionist. But I'm talking about if it's persistent and you're really struggling. On that note, I kind of already started with a few of the points already, not being authentic, and yeah, just showing your true self and being open and honest as to what level you would want to be. But here are some of the mistakes that I made when I first started my health coaching business. I had to learn the hard way, and be sure to keep listening towards the end. If you are a holistic practitioner of some kind, health coach, nutritionist on that line, and you're looking to be mentored by me in a program starting next month, it's an exciting opportunity. So listen to the end to hear more about that. So, number one mistake that I made was that I was just being too vanilla for so long on social media. I wasn't standing out. I didn't want to rock the boat or upset anyone, but it's just not possible. I could put the most neutral post out there and someone could still be offended because there are so many snowflakes out there, and it's just stopping me from attracting other people because to stand out, you have to have a clear message and show a bit of your personality. Otherwise, people aren't going to pay attention. You don't have to be brutal or really controversial or upsetting people with your messaging. But if you really believe or don't believe in something, share it. If you've been seeing clients or people online skipping breakfast, they're addicted to caffeine and they're not changing, tell them that continuing to do that means that they're going to keep struggling with their symptoms. It does depend on your personality style a little bit, because mine is more in a loving but blunt, direct way. It doesn't have to be, you're such an idiot for doing this. Some people do that, and some people love that really strict way of coaching, but you have to find your happy ground. So don't be afraid to share more about yourself, give them the catchy headlines, and be a little bit polarizing, because it's like the quote about juicy peaches. Not everyone is going to like you, and you could be the juiciest peach in the whole world. Number two is that I didn't have any clear boundaries. I was just so excited to start coaching people and sharing my knowledge, but then I realized I'm running a business, so I kind of need to have some terms and conditions and structure and boundaries in place because it started to get a little bit messy in the back end of the business, and it was around things like client session expiry dates. So I would just have them book 4 sessions and there was just an open end as to when they could use them. I would give them advice, book it every 4 to 6 weeks, but some people would just go MIA for 2 years, come back around and expect to just keep continuing with the coaching package, which technically they should be able to because I didn't put any agreements in place, but I had the intention of wanting to see them regularly and work very closely in a 6 month container. And then it just becomes extra work because they come back around and you're like, who the hell are you? Let's go through everything again because you forget, especially if I'm managing a lot of different people. And it's like you have to start the momentum and the progress from scratch again. So what some other things that I did was put in my phone number on my website and social media and things like that. And some people are okay with that. I'm personally not. I don't have a separate work phone and I already have emails on there, social media on there. So I like to keep it as separate as possible. Some people like WhatsApp for support and Instagram. They're fine with Instagram DMs. And I'm not. I like to have my client communication just on email or just on Telegram, another app that I use. And things like payments, I personally take my client payments in advance and have policies for no-shows, late fees, or they lose the session if they don't use it in a particular amount of time. And when I've increased my prices before, just to give older clients a bit of a long-term clients a bit of a heads up and a way to purchase more sessions at that current price before it increases, I've allowed them to buy 2 or 3 sessions to use in a period of time. At first, I didn't give them the period of time, then I started to learn, but people would still not do that. And I would make it very clear this needs to be used by July 2024. And there were a few people who just didn't do it. And you can't have one rule for one and another rule for another. So I gave them sometimes like an extra month if they've really had some chaos going on in their life and it's just been a busy year or it's a global pandemic or something. I'll honor maybe a few weeks over the expiry. But any more than that, for example, last year I had a client who'd booked this pay in advance offer and it was to expire in July, I think, and then it was around November that they came back around. And I would do the same. I would ask, is there any way that I could use the session? Sorry, just slipped my mind and life's just been really busy. But I had to say no because the reason that I have expiries on my session is because I need to keep my clients well managed. And I know in a week how many clients I'm seeing, what my capacity is. So then if I start allowing clients who have used their sessions, should have used their sessions, come back around, it's going to interfere with my workload and how I show up for current clients as well. So that was important to me. And I said no to this one client. And I was always a little bit like, oh, I feel bad. I'm a recovering people pleaser. And she was like, okay, I just thought I'd ask. And I actually really appreciate that because the thing with boundaries is when you hold your boundaries strong, the other person then respects that and should see that they can have boundaries in their own life. Whereas if I'm flimsy with it and I just let people walk all over me, that's just actually not going to benefit anyone because you're going to hold some kind of resentment to the client and they don't learn the importance of boundaries in their own life. So I'm kind of doing them a favor. We reframe it in that way. And yeah, she said she appreciates me saying no. I just want to take a quick pause to ask you a really important question. Where do you want your health to be in 6 months' time? More energized, feeling comfortable in your skin and body again, excited for life because you're finally starting to see improvements with your health, or frustrated and depressed because you're still struggling with symptoms, which are taking over your life and stopping you from living life to the full. If you want the first option, you're going to have to do something different. After all, the definition of insanity is doing the same things over again and expecting a different result. If you're DIYing your health, meaning trying to heal yourself through researching, trial and error, wasting a lot of money and time in the process, then you could be sabotaging your results. Would you try and fix your car if it broke and you didn't know what was wrong with it? No. So why are you trying to do it all alone when it comes to the most important thing that we have in our life, our health? Trust me, actually asking for help and investing in yourself saves you time, money, and a lot of stress in the long run. I know you're probably not getting any answers or support from your doctor. I've been there too. That's why I created my 6-month signature hormone reset package. This one-to-one coaching package offers the highest level of support and transformation as we'd be closely working together to identify and address the underlying root causes of your health issues. Even if you're already eating healthy and taking supplements, there's so much more to healing, so don't feel like you've tried it all. Let me help you figure out what's causing your stubborn symptoms and support your body in healing naturally, which, in case no one has ever told you, is completely possible. Check out my website, which is linked in the episode show notes for more information, and the links to apply or book an enrollment call are there if you want to chat further. If you've been looking for a sign, this is it. Next one, number 3, is that I was trying to help everyone. This was with my messaging, so I was just being too broad, and with niching, you don't have to niche down to a very specific symptom like big toenail pain, but it also has to make sure that you're not just talking too generally and talking to everyone. But this point was that I was taking on people as a client because I knew I could help them, even though for some reason, could be a multitude of reasons, my gut was saying no. It might have been that it wasn't the right time in their life, but they were telling me, like, I've got a lot going on, but I can do it. And I just knew it wouldn't be good for their mental load. It could be that they didn't believe in themselves, and I could kind of hint based off what they were saying, or I'd ask them, do you feel like you could heal? And they'd say, no, not really, I'm losing hope. And then I think, oh, I can help them because I've got some tools to help with that, help with confidence and self-belief. But I really had to learn the truth that you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. And I really should have listened to my gut because I had a few clients then who did become more challenging, and I didn't listen to an immediate red flag that I had, or maybe it was that they came to me and they were already bad-mouthing other practitioners, or they're in this desperate energy. Like, I've already seen 20 doctors this year and you're my last resort. And I do feel like they've missed some key things, but it's about really making clear expectations with them and having those boundaries in place and just really thinking you're probably going to have to work with this person for at least 6 months. That's how my packages run. And it might be a positive to get a new client. And obviously, if you need the money, then it's feels hard to say no when you actually know that you can benefit them as well. But if it's then going to be a stress and the client is really needy and it just becomes a horrible 6 months, to me, it's not really worth it. So I've got so much better the past few years at saying no and at least giving them some redirection. So a different form of therapy, a different practitioner, and just saying that it's not right for me right now. And I do that in the enrollment calls that I have. Number 4 is that I was undercharging for the longest time too. I don't recommend starting off and trying to charge £500 an hour because you kind of have to work up and build some reputation first and get some client testimonials and proof that your methods work. I did a ton of free sessions to begin just to get some practice in. I mean, we did at college some case studies and we saw clients and did about 500 clinical hours. But in the real world, it's very different. And then I started charging, and it was very low cost to begin. I was kind of mimicking what, because I worked alongside an acupuncturist, what he would charge. So like £40 an hour. But I failed to think that his session is just that hour, whereas mine was that hour plus maybe 2 hours before and 2 hours after. And it's not the same. And it's a lot more mental load than putting some needles in, not to downplay the role of acupuncture because I love it. but it's very different. And as you start to build the practice, yes, you might get more clients in, but can you actually manage them and manage them well long term and get the results that they deserve? And then I just ended up staying too low for too long because I was scared of putting my prices up. I worried every single time that no one would pay. And then it would just take that one person to sign up and I'd be like, oh, and now I believe in myself and I know what I'm worth. You're always going to have objections, whether it's a £50 product or a £500 product, so bear that in mind. But I do find that the more of an investment people make, and it has to be a kind of a stretch for them to get the best results. And they are often way more committed when they've invested more in themselves. They've got more skin in the game and they've often got better results because they're like, I need to get my money's worth out of this and give it my all. And this depends on the type of service it is and how long you're working with them and how much you want to earn in a month. So I'm not going to give any exact figures here. And last but not least is that I would waste time. Number 5 is that I was being busy but not actually productive. I would have no real structure in my business and then just be like, okay, what needs to be done? And there's always something to be done when you have a business. There's little changes to the website, there's emails, there's things on social media that you can create, but I didn't have a proper structure and routine. I had no schedule. And by the time I knew it and blinked, the end of the day had come and I'd not really done anything to move the needle when it comes to my business. And even with client protocols and emails, I was just trying to reinvent the wheel. And even social media, every single time I felt like I had to create something brand new. And it was just becoming mentally draining because it's great that I was seeing more clients, but that also took more work before and after a session. And there's only so much paperwork and follow-ups that you can do in a day. And that's the part that I enjoy the least. My skill is being on a call with someone and actually coaching them and guiding them through, whereas all the write-up and the back end is part of my job and it's important that I do that, but it's what I enjoy the least out of everything. And I've tried to delegate a few tasks like my social media, and my podcast is delegated to other people now, partly. Like I obviously record the content and send it across. And that was difficult to begin, letting go of control, but it's actually been very important for me to grow my business. So those are the 5 tips, the 5 mistakes, things not to do. And if you can relate to any of them and you're a health practitioner like myself, nutritional therapist, health coach, or equivalent, this is exactly why I created my practitioner mentoring program. So this is starting really soon on the 1st of February, 2025. And there's so many benefits in there. I've done mentoring over the years on a one-to-one basis, just the odd single session, and got really good feedback. I love this part of my work, helping practitioners, because I've supported the clients for a long time and I know that practitioners have questions. They want to learn from someone who's been there, done it, made the mistakes, wore the t-shirt and saved themselves a whole lot of time, money, stress, following in their footsteps. So there is a community aspect in this program. After each module, there's one-to-one calls. It is a 3 to 4 month program. So the standard program, the foundations are Module 1, Business Foundations, so talking all about the secrets to a successful coaching business. For example, finding your ideal clients and creating good content to attract them in, building the know, like, and trust factor, automations in your business, my favorite software as a practitioner, all that good stuff. Module 2 is your mindset mastery as a practitioner, as a CEO, how to stay mentally strong when there are difficult clients, or around your money mindset as a holistic practitioner. More on the importance of boundaries and how to actually implement boundaries, how to improve your confidence so you can be seen as an authority figure, and more. Module 3 is advanced client results. So we're going to jump into conditions like acne, IBS, PCOS, some of the most common things that I see, fertility issues, fatigue, and I'm going to give you more advanced recommendations and considerations to use with your clients if you're doing all the basic stuff and you're like, please help me, I'm stuck, I don't know where to turn next, because they seem to be doing all the right things and actually eating healthier than you do, and how to support them even between clients, so they have like a VIP experience and they become your biggest fans. They refer you to other people and you get the best testimonials, how to help them when they are not seeing results, what to do. Lots of recommendations there. So that's the foundations 3 month. And then this is because some certifications don't allow you to do functional labs or use them with clients. So that would be an optional add-on. And the fourth bonus module is the VIP upgrade if you want to learn about functional lab tests. So the 4 tests are the HGMA, organic acid urine test, GI map stool test, and Dutch Complete, which are my 4 most used, most favorite labs that can help your clients get deeper answers and understandings as to why they're struggling with their health issues. And it's not just going to be the generic information online, like what does this mean if this is high or low? It's going to be real life case studies and situations, what to actually do and what to consider if there's these imbalances, and how to support their client on a deeper level. So we only have a few spaces left in the group now, ready to start in a few weeks' time. I am offering 30-minute free enrollment calls if you want to chat further before going ahead and jumping in. I want to make sure you're a good fit for this program and for the people who are already inside. So message me as soon as possible to get that booked in if you have questions. There is lots of information on the website page, including the investment options. So that is going to be linked in the episode show notes. But I would love to have you part of it. This is an exciting new venture on my business journey as well. And it's your chance to learn from me and just skyrocket your business success and your client results in 2025. So thank you for listening, and I will see you back here next week for the next episode.